the reason how I got into matchmaking is because I did sign up for a matchmaking service when I turned 30. I'm like, well, I'm cute. I'm normal. I work out and stuff. I have a good job. I just bought a house. Like, what's wrong with me? Kind of like the question you ask in your book. Like, what's wrong with me? So I signed up for a matchmaking service. So I was really focused on trying to find somebody, right?
Mhm.
But that matchmaking service was so bad that I'm like, I could do this better than them. And that's what led me to start my own dating service. But dating back then was hard because I didn't want to put my information online because all of my subordinates were online. They could
Mm.
see me. They don't want to see their boss on
Mhm.
match.com and start winking at me or something. So I knew I didn't want to be online. So I didn't do online dating, but I did sign up for a matchmaking service, but then they were horrible.
How were
So
they horrible?
they were horrible in the sense that they just basically saw you and they ran your credit to see if you can afford them. And they did the hardcore sales and they would just sell me a package. And then after that, I never talked to them.
Wow.
So I felt like, wow, they just totally sold me and just didn't even handhold and care about me. So that's why when I started my business, I thought, well, the people who come to me need a little bit of handholding. They need a little bit of pushing and prodding. And so that's kind of how I based my business on is how I felt when I signed up and how I could be different than them. So yeah, dating was tough back then. I mean, you meet great people because I worked for Enterprise Rent-A-Car and they hired all college graduates, right? They hired all good-looking people, I felt like, people who are outgoing, who can sell.
Mhm.
So I was around a lot of great people, but you're not supposed to date in the company. It's frowned upon. So they don't want you know, swimming in the company pool.
Mhm.
So yeah, dating was tough back then. You just have to try to meet people organically, but I'm working 60 hours a week, so I wasn't meeting anybody organically. But knowing what I know now, if I were to talk to my 30-year-old self,
Mhm.
I'd be like, you know what? Host parties, make your friend bring a friend of the opposite sex and focus on those things and ask your friends, hey, if you have a singles party or a regular dinner party, will you just invite me?
Mhm.
Just be open to really going out. And when people ask you to do stuff, just say yes. Try to be out socially twice a week, make a point of it.
Mhm.
And what I really like, if I were to advise
Mhm.
young people now,
Mhm.
is that if they're single, sign up for something that interests them, whether it's a cooking class or it's pickleball or it's going to church. If you really want to find someone who's Christian or Jewish or whatever, go to church or temple and make a point of volunteering, do extracurricular activities, and just let people know that you're single and you're open to being set up
Mhm.
if they meet these 3 criteria. That's the only list you can have is up to 3 things. Not 5, not 7, not 10 things. Like, some of the women come to me and they give me, like, this whole checklist, and I'm like, "You've been dating 15 years and you can't find this. How do you expect me to?"
Right.
Right?
That's a
So, yeah.
fantastic point because there is truth to that. I think someone get defensive because there's with the whole women's empowerment, I deserve, more than this, but also being realistic. One of focus on how you're showing up.
Mhm.
But I do hear from a lot of men, they say a lot of modern women, they have unrealistic expectations.
Because the media or influencers are telling the women that they deserve this.
I mean, it goes both ways. There can be entitled people, man or woman, or it can go